Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and folk of all ages, you know what time it is. It is a new month, so we have new holidays, holy days, days of remembrance to go over and learn about. Alrighty then, so March leaves us with two special days. We have Ostara and the Day of Remembrance for Olvir of Egg. Olvir's Day of Remembrance is on March 9th, coming up in about 5 days as I record this. And Ostara is officially on the 20th by the spring equinox, but we observe it as with all of our holidays on the third weekend of the month, so that is the 15th. And even more confusing is the national event of Ostara is coming up, and that is at Thorshof, and that'll be on the fourth weekend of the month, which reckons to be the 21st, 22nd, 23rd. So let's get down to it, learn about these days, and get a little bit more detail. Perfect. Alrighty, so let's start with Olvir of Egg. Again, I said his Day of Remembrance is on March 9th. Olvir of Egg, who lived in the early 11th century and died in 1021, was a Gothi in the region of Trondheim, Norway. Since the story takes place 20 years after Olaf Tryggvason was deposed, Christianization was all but complete in Norway. The Norwegians, still remaining faithful to the Aesir, did so in secrecy, as they would be tortured and killed if they were discovered. King Olaf II of Norway, often referred to as Saint Olaf, began to hear rumors of Asatru gatherings in Olvir's region of Trondheim. As the Gothi of the area, Olvir was sent to appear before the king and explain himself on two separate occasions. Both times he carefully convinced Olaf that there was not Asatru gatherings, but simply great feasts and secular community events. Olaf appeared convinced, but told some of his spies to keep an eye on Trondheim and Olvir. Olaf's spies later informed him that an Ostara gathering was being prepared in Trondheim, and the king had heard enough. He set out with 5 ships and 300 men towards Trondheim. They arrived in the dark and successfully ambushed Olvir and all of his folk brave enough to have kept their troth with the Aesir. Olvir and many of his people were tortured and killed, stamping out Asatru for the next 900 years. Olvir's story is inspiring in a way different than those of Raud the Strong or King Radbod of Frisia. Olvir unfortunately had to hide his people's love and worship of the Aesir, and he had to lie to Olaf for the good of his folk. Since our folk have always been a noble people, we do not like to be dishonest or hear that our heroes have ever been dishonest. However, it's important to remember that the Hávamál tells us to repay kindness with kindness, but to also repay treachery with treachery. Olvir was not deceiving a friend or even a good man, but a despotic king pushing a foreign faith on his own subjects. Olvir lied for the good of his folk and for their dedication to the Aesir, and would go right back to being proudly Asatru and officiating rituals for his community. His piety and devotion never wavered, and even when hiding his Asatru from the murderous king, he adhered to advice given to us by the All-Father. Let this tale be an inspiring one to all of our folk, so we may be Asatru even when it's inconvenience. Hail, Olvir of Egg! Hail the Asatru Folk Assembly! Following that Day of Remembrance, we get the holiday for the month, and that is Ostara. Hail Ostara, conquering goddess of the dawn, radiant lady of spring. You ride boldly out of the east, conquering all before you. May your light chase away the darkness. May your warmth banish the cold. Ostara is the celebration marking the beginning of spring. The cold, dreary days of winter are finally coming to an end. The sun is warming the frozen soil. Life is once stirring from the depths. Ostara is a celebration in every way. Our ancestors celebrated life and the survival of another long winter. They celebrated the birth of lambs and calves and horses. They celebrated the blossoming fertility of the world around them. In today's fast and hectic world, now's a good time to stop and take a deep breath. Let the sun warm your face and take the time to thank the gods and the ancestors for seeing you through another cold winter. Shake off the influences of the winter blues. Now is the time to get your hands dirty. The small plot of the garden that you planned for during the charming of the plow is almost ready for planting. Keep that soil turned and soft. Keep fertilizing it. It is too cold to plant seeds directly into the ground, but this is a good time to begin your seeds inside. Plant them and keep them warm. Set yourself up for success. If you are not working on a garden, then you should be moving from the planning stages of your charming of the plow project into the beginning of the active stages. The winter months are stationary by nature, but winter is over. Now it is time to leave the introspection in favor of action. With industriousness, we can change the world. Start small and move always onward. Hail Ostara. Hail the Asatru Folk Assembly. That is the holidays and holy days for the month, but I can't leave you out without another plug. Ostara at Thorshof is going to be awesome. I will be there along with a ton of your folk and leadership, the Alsherjargothi, a few of the Witten, Mini Gothar. It's going to be awesome. We had well over 100 people out last year, shaking the floors of the Vey as we did blot. Come on out, eat some good food, have some good rituals, listen to some great talks, meet some amazing folk, and have a great time celebrating Ostara and hailing her glorious name. Again, that is March. March the 21st, the 22nd, and the 23rd. I will see you there, and that is in Linden, North Carolina at Thorshof. Come on out. Get your tickets now. runestone.org/store. Come on out, folks. And that wraps up our video for the month. And as always, hail Olvir of Egg. Hail Ostara. Hail the Aesir. Hail the folk. Hail the Asatru Folk Assembly. And hail victory, y'all. Have a good one.